Every once in a while, a product comes along that creates a new category, a spin, a change direction, a shift in thinking. This is one of those products. It solves a specific problem for a specific niche of people, and it does so in what I think is a novel way. The truth is, you're probably not going to buy it, but for a select few of you, this is exactly what you've been looking for. I'm talking about this, the Logitech Casa Pop-Up Desk. It's a keyboard, trackpad, and laptop stand, all in the form factor that's about the size of your laptop, and therefore it's perfect for either travel or for easy storage. It retails for $180 and comes in 3 colors. Now, because this is such a different product, I'm going to break my review down into a few different pieces, starting with how you use this thing and what I think it should be used for. Then we'll go through a component by component review of the stand, the keyboard, and the trackpad that comes included. And finally, a review of just the overall package. I'll have chapters down below to help you jump around if you need to. Let's start with how to use it. As I mentioned, this is not a new entrant into an existing category. To the best of my knowledge, this is a net new category altogether. I don't know of any other product that does the same sort of thing, at least not from any of the major manufacturers that I'm aware of. To use it, you start by pulling back the large rubber band that keeps everything closed. You pull that to the back side, you'll now be able to open up the top flap that keeps everything inside. Once you do that, you can place it down and remove your devices. So you're gonna see a keyboard, a trackpad, and a small door that can keep a charging cable or maybe a couple other small components. These all fit in very snug, so in order to remove them, you have to press down on the bottom of the device. So on the bottom of the keyboard, you press down, it comes up, you grab the back of it to remove that. You press down on the bottom of the trackpad, you can remove that as well. Once you have those out, you're gonna take this top flap, which is your laptop stand, and magnet it to the front of the overall package. So it pops in there. You put your laptop in there, and just like that, in seconds, you've got an ergonomic desk setup. Now, when you're done, it's as simple as doing the reverse. Open it back up, toss in your keyboard, your trackpad, close it back up, and bring that rubber band back over. And just like that, you're ready to store this away, toss it in a bag, toss it on a bookshelf, do whatever you need. So now that you know how it works, you're probably in one of 2 camps. You're either wondering, why on earth would anyone need this thing? Or you're eagerly awaiting my component by component review to know whether this is worth 180 of your hard-earned dollars. So first, for the folks who don't get it, here are the use cases that I've come up with. First, and possibly most obvious, is travel. Bringing this along when going to a coffee shop, client site, or anywhere else that you need to work on the go is a great alternative to working directly from a laptop hunched over. Second would be for easy storage. If you work from home and don't have a dedicated desk or office to work from, this allows you to easily have a very temporary working space on a table, countertop, etc. This can be particularly useful if you live in a very small apartment or if you're trying to live a minimalist lifestyle. In either case, being able to break down your workstation at the end of each and every day and store it on a shelf or in a bag is a pretty intriguing option. Finally, in certain use cases, this is actually a discount alternative to an ergonomic setup. Assuming you already have a laptop that you use, the traditional ergonomic setup would include a keyboard, mouse, and a monitor. Compared to a monitor, the $180 price tag here could be seen as a bargain since it includes everything. Now, obviously, this isn't the absolute cheapest way that you can achieve this goal, but when you consider the possibilities around storage and travel with the other 2 options, it becomes pretty compelling as a discount ergonomic setup. Now, we'll talk more about overall value at the end. Now, let's take a look at each of the components here, starting with the stand. From the outside, the stand, which is also the case, looks like a moleskin notebook. It's a beautiful design, but I find the color choices to be, well, specific. Rather than going simple with an all black or simple white and gray, They chose unique colors that appear to appeal largely to a female audience. Nothing wrong with that, but I worry that it might be a bit too much for many people. I'm also a little bit worried about durability, specifically of this rubber band. If it breaks, then there is nothing stopping everything from falling out. It seems like a magnetic clasp or some other type of mechanism may have been a little bit more confidence-inspiring. I will say I do like the look of this rubber band. Plus, when you open it and have it on the bottom, it does add a tiny bit of grip to prevent this from slipping around. On the inside, removing the keyboard and trackpad is simple once you know how to do it. Just looking at it the first time, it's honestly a little hard to figure out. They actually give you some instructions to try and teach you how to do it because it's not the most straightforward. But once you realize you just got to push down to remove it, it's very straightforward. Now the small compartment for your cable is nice, but if you're hoping to store other things in here, you may be disappointed. Another small cable, a USB thumb drive, maybe a miniature pen or pencil, a few paper clips, I don't know. It's not much, but it's there rather than wasted space, and also will make sure you always have that charging cable with you to recharge these when they get low. Now, when you pull the stand out, the magnets produce a nice hold. The only problem is that there's no adjustability. This is the angle. Hope you like it. The stand also advertises a capacity between 10-inch laptops and 17-inch laptops and up to 12 millimeters in thickness. The best context I can give is that a current MacBook Pro, which I will say is on the thicker side of modern laptops, fits just barely. Anything under this will have no problem. Anything borderline may depend a little bit on the shape of the laptop to determine if it'll fit in the little teeth at the bottom of the stand. Overall, I think that the stand is the key component here. Without it, we'd just be reviewing a keyboard bundle. With it, we have something new. For that, I love it. But for the colors, the slight durability concerns, and the lack of adjustability, it's just okay. Now, let's jump to the keyboard. If you've seen my channel before, you know that I love keyboards. And this one may have no frills, but I think in the context of this package, it makes sense. The keyboard is thin and very low profile, making it very similar to typing on a laptop. This is always a strong selling point for me and stands out particularly here since, this is built to be used specifically with a laptop. There is no adjustability. There are no feet on the bottom that you can change the typing angle, which means that it's not particularly ergonomic. And since one of the selling points of this package is ergonomics, hence the laptop stand to prop up your laptop screen and the shout out to ergonomics on Logitech's website, I would have loved to see pop-out feet on the bottom to give you that typing angle option without sacrificing the thin design needed to fit overall in here, but sadly, those are nowhere to be found. The keyboard does support multi-device connectivity, allowing you to connect between 3 devices via either Bluetooth or the Logibolt USB dongle, which is not included in this package. The key layout, which has often been a sticking point for me with Logitech, is very good. It's got many of the things that sit on my must-have and nice-to-have lists. There are both Mac and PC markings on the keys. You can switch between them seamlessly, no switch or anything for adjustment, just connect. The function keys and number keys are aligned, similar to how most laptops are set up, which takes away a little bit of learning curve there when going between one and the other. And the keys on the function row mostly make sense. Media keys, screenshot, mute, and so on. The only one I don't like is the emoji key, but Logitech seems dead set on making this a thing one way or the other. The function button at the bottom is on the left, which I much prefer for certain one-handed uses like using F2 when working in Excel. And if you're using functions frequently, there is a function lock on the escape key. This is a great list for my use cases. None of these things are particularly earth-shattering, but more importantly, they haven't done anything kind of bold and disruptive that might have made using this keyboard a pain. Behind the keys, there is no backlighting to be found. No RGB, no white light, no nothing, which is not great for using this in the dark, but is great for allowing the keyboard to last 5 months on a single charge. It's great that this keyboard is rechargeable so that you don't have to carry around AA batteries in your little compartment. And there's a USB-C port on the back in order to charge, and a nice USB-C to USB-C cable that comes with the whole package. Typing on the keyboard is very quiet, with the only annoying noise coming from the noticeably louder spacebar. When typing, I'm not the biggest fan of the texture of the keys, and some people may find the size and lack of angle challenging for comfort. Lastly, I was surprised just how much downforce was needed for key presses. It's much higher than I expected for such a slim and small keyboard. It was almost a bit fatiguing when using the keyboard for a long period of time. Definitely not what I expected. Overall though, I think this keyboard is about what I'd expect in a package like this. There's no bells, no whistles, but overall it's a solid build. I'd compare it most closely with the K470 keyboard that I reviewed a few years ago. Today, I think the closest comparison would be the K380, which is a small $40 Logitech keyboard. I haven't typed on that one myself, but it seems largely based on that model, just with square keys instead of round. It's weird for me to talk about this, a $180 product, and compare it to such cheap keyboards. But when we're talking about a keyboard, trackpad, and the stand all in one, these kind of have to be cheap components in here to make that $180 total price tag. One thing that particularly makes this keyboard feel cheap are the stickers on the keys. They're fine, but they're just so clearly stickers that it takes away from any thought of this appearing as a premium product. Many people may not even notice this fact, but to me, the Logi logo on the spacebar specifically stands out as looking cheap. Especially when you view it in bright light, it just stands out a little too much for my liking. If you can look past those little details, traveling with a keyboard this small and convenient with 5 months of battery life and a logical key layout that matches your laptop, it's what this package deserved. Finally, let's talk trackpad. If you've been on the fence about this product up until this point, allow me to convince you with this incredible trackpad. Now, I just got done talking about how the keyboard in this package compares to cheap, very non-premium options. This trackpad, on the other hand, I'd argue goes toe-to-toe with, honestly, some of the best. It's ever so slightly smaller than the trackpad on my 15-inch MacBook Pro, which is to say that it is plenty big for everyday use. Just like the keyboard, it supports multi-device connectivity, meaning that you can use it with up to 3 devices via Bluetooth or Logi Bolt. Just a reminder again, Logi Bolt is not included in this package. And you switch it with a button on the bottom of the device. Now the materials here do not really feel cheap, especially the trackpad material itself, which for me is the most important material on one of these devices. As far as I'm concerned, Apple's trackpads are the best in the game by a mile. This one though is so close. It misses by half a step, almost nothing. If I wasn't comparing them side by side with the MacBook, I would say that it's just as good. The only place where this trackpad misses is when you click it. I wouldn't expect it to match the magic that is Force Touch on a MacBook, but the sound of the physical click is louder than I'd like. And when you are clicking near the edges, it often sounds either hollow or like it's bottoming out to the plastic below, which is not that great. However, let us compare this head on to the standalone Apple Magic Trackpad. Apple's Trackpad is $129. It is Mac only, does not support multi-device, and charges with a Lightning port. It is larger and has a slight edge in materials, but this whole package is only $50 more than what Apple charges just for their trackpad. So with that in mind, Logitech, please release this as a standalone product. It seems like you abandoned making trackpads a long time ago, but this gives me hope. I'd consider having a trackpad like this on my desk at all times because there's certain activities that are just easier with a trackpad versus with a mouse. There is totally a world out there in my mind where this does really well standalone in the $40 to $60 price range, maybe a premium version that's a little bit larger with some better materials that's closer to 100, 120. If you could make that happen, that would be awesome. Obviously, at this point, you can tell that I think this is the star of the show here. It's a perfect complement to the whole package and is a very cool alternative to the other option, which would have been a very basic, super slim mouse in order to fit into this package. The fact that it is a trackpad is also nice for gesture controls, which can be customized using the Logi Options Plus software, which has honestly improved a lot lately. And if you haven't taken a look in a while, I'd recommend it. Now, one final thing to note about the trackpad is that it only has about a 3-week battery life. But honestly, I can live with that. All right, so overall, what do I think about this product as a whole and the value that it provides? So at $180, I'd say this is a premium price product when you're talking about sort of a travel device. However, the individual keyboard, trackpad, etc. are slightly less than premium. And so therefore I have a little bit of trouble reconciling the total price. I put the keyboard at about $40, with the trackpad being about $60, which would make the case around $80. That doesn't quite make sense to me. None of these products are available on a standalone basis, so these numbers are all a little bit made up. And it's not that I think the $180 is unfair, but if you found this on sale or had a coupon and could get it to the $150 range, I think it becomes much more compelling. Now don't get me wrong, the engineering that went into the creation of this product is great. The storage makes good use of space, and they've created a clever way to remove your keyboard and trackpad once you know how. At the end of the day, I really want this product to succeed because I think that this new product category could be really useful for a specific audience. Now, I've met this audience. I spent 8 years working in professional services, traveling to client sites for work. And there's an army of people out in the world that live life traveling around, working here, working there, working everywhere. Most of these people spend their life hunched over a laptop. Some of them bring a mouse. Having a laptop stand to at least give you some level of ergonomics when you arrive on site is huge. Now, while it wasn't super common in the days when I was working, I did see a handful of individuals who traveled to client sites with a keyboard, a mouse, and a stand just like this. In those cases, though, each piece just kind of sat loose. It had nowhere to go. It was nowhere near as elegant a package as this. Those people should buy this product, and those people probably will buy this product. Separately from them, minimalism has been growing for years and years, and as has work from home. I have this clear vision of a New York City minimalist setting up for their day at the kitchen table and then breaking everything down at the end of the day and neatly tucking the whole thing onto a bookshelf. This could even be a really nice way to provide separation from work life and regular life. When you're putting the setup away, the work is done for the day. Outside of those slam dunk niches sits a whole group of maybes. And I think if you're one of those maybes, there may be one thing specifically standing in your way. And that's the colors. The colors are weird. I've already said this, but I don't know what they were going for. What worries me is that someone who could benefit from this, who would truly love it, will feel that the colors are just a little bit too bold for them to pop it open at a client site or coffee shop. If you roll up with a laptop stand, you automatically will stand out, no pun intended. If you like that and want to stand out, then getting a purple, pink, or green stand will be the least of your worries. But if you're a bit more self-conscious like me and like I imagine the masses are, it's going to be a bit of a tough sell. I truly hope that you don't see this as a barrier because I honestly want you to buy this. I want you to feel the value of this whole package and travel with it regularly. I want this category to become normal and for there to be innovation and competition in this space. This could honestly expand to support the needs of travelers, minimalists, and those in need of discount work-from-home products. Why couldn't this become standard issue at a consulting firm like the one that I used to work at? Or why can't cheaper versions become staples of how your kids do homework? Or how college students write papers when they go to the library? It could be so many things, and I hope that it gets that chance. Thanks for watching this very detailed review of the Casa Pop-Up Stand Desk. Comment your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. And you just elegantly snap it in place.